If your workplace asked you to say your name in order to leave, what would you do if it was possible that your name alone would be enough to get you out? It started on New Year's Eve, December 31st, 2025. The kind of night where everyone outside the hospital is getting ready to laugh and count down and pretend life resets at midnight. And I'm standing at the security desk in a big old hospital on the edge of a cold American town. The building looks normal from the outside, but inside it's all long corridors and too many doors and elevators that never feel like they go where you think they'll go. And everything is logged, everything is recorded. Every badge swipe is a footprint that stays behind. I'm wearing my ID badge on my chest like always, my name printed in black, bold enough you can read it from across the hallway. And I never thought a name could be a problem. I never thought a name could be a handle somebody grabs you by. I thought a name was just what people used to get your attention. That was before that night made it feel like the whole place had learned how to listen. Around 10:47 p.m., I'm doing what I always do, watching the camera wall in the security office, an old setup with feeds that flicker and blur like the building's trying to hide its own corners. And I notice something that shouldn't be there. The West Wing camera, the one that's supposed to be dead because that wing has been closed for renovations for months, is showing a faint pulse of light at the far end of the hallway. Not bright like someone turned a lamp on, more like a device waking up, a small blink that comes and goes. And it shouldn't even have power, because they shut off the main panel for that wing. I'm sure of that, because any access to that wing triggers alarms and paperwork, and the kind of headache nobody wants on a holiday shift. And while I'm staring at the feed, my pager on the desk buzzes with a message from the hospital internal system. Not 911, not police, not EMS, the hospital itself. And the message is one line: Ward West call light active. Which makes no sense because a call light is the little nurse call button patients press from their bed. And there are no patients in West, no staff, no operating rooms, nothing. Just plastic sheeting and dust. So I radio the ER charge desk and ask if anyone went in there, and they answer like I'm annoying them. No, that wing's closed. Probably a glitch. Clear it. And I try to acknowledge it from the security panel. It clears for 2 seconds and pops right back up like someone pressed the call light again, like someone waited until I stopped looking. And that's when the first real cold thought hits me. Not the ghost story kind, the practical kind. If the system thinks someone is calling from a closed wing, either the system is lying or someone is in there, and both options are bad. I grab the big flashlight and the mechanical key we keep for emergency access, and I walk the long hallway to the West Wing door, the one with the red "Do Not Enter" tape and a faded printed notice signed by facilities. I peel the tape away, slide the key into the old lock, and the door gives way too easily, like it wasn't really locked, like it just wanted to feel locked. And the smell hits me as soon as it opens. Damp plastic, old dust, that stale breath of a place nobody's supposed to remember. And inside the wing the hallway is dark, except for that same pulsing glow at the far end. And my footsteps echo too long, like the corridor is longer than it should be. And with every step I hear this faint tick-tick-tick, steady and patient, like a metronome behind the walls. And I tell myself it's pipes settling or a relay switching, but it's too regular, too intentional. I get closer to the glow and realize it's coming from a small wall-mounted panel, one of those nurse call displays that usually shows the room number and flashes red when a patient calls. Except it isn't showing a room number, it's flashing red and displaying my name, my actual name, like I'm a room, like I'm the patient, like I'm the thing that pressed the button. And below it in clean system text it says, "System call, security, my name, please respond." And my stomach drops. Because this is not how that system talks. It's not even supposed to be powered. And there's a door nearby cracked open a few inches, like someone left it that way on purpose. And I push it gently, and it squeals loud enough to make me wince. And inside the room there's an old bed wrapped in clear plastic. No patient, nothing living. But the nurse call handset is hanging off the side, swinging slightly as if it was just let go. And I step closer and touch it without thinking. And it's warm. Not room warm, hand warm, like skin had been around it recently, and I snatch my hand back like it burned me, and then the handset starts screaming, that harsh beeping that makes nurses move fast. And out of the handset speaker comes a voice, not a nurse, not a patient, not a radio, a voice that sounds like the hospital overhead paging system, but too close, too intimate, and it says my name 3 times, fast, clipped, like it's trying to hook me. Security. my name. Security, my name. Security, my name. And I react on instinct. I slam the handset with the flashlight and it hits the floor and the beeping stops. But the hallway panel outside changes. It stops flashing my name and displays a new line. Identification required for release. And I don't even understand what release means in that context. Release from where? Release to where? But my body understands danger. So I turn and run back down the corridor toward the wing entrance. And the hallway feels longer now, like it's stretching, like the building is making space for me to panic. And the plastic on the floor flutters under my boots like whispers traveling with me. And when I reach the entrance door, I find it locked from my side. The handle won't move, the lock won't budge, and my key is not with me because I left it in the outside lock like an idiot, assuming I'd be in and out. And I pound on the door and shout for help without saying any names. And after what feels like forever, I hear footsteps outside and a voice on the other side says, "Where's the key?" And I say, "Open it." The door locked behind me, and the voice answers, "Say your name first so I know it's you." And that line, that exact line, makes my blood turn to ice because nobody says that in a hospital. Nobody needs that. And the voice repeats, "Say your name clearly. The system won't let me override without a confirmation." And I refuse. I say, "Just open it." And then I hear my own voice from the other side, calm, slow, saying my name clearly, like it's doing exactly what I won't do. And the door latch clicks and the gap widens by half an inch like it responded to my voice, not to me. And I stumble backward because I finally get it. Something in this wing is not trying to scare me for fun. It's trying to get a confirmation. It's trying to make the building accept a name. And the fastest way out of that wing is suddenly the only thing that feels worse than staying in it. I look around for another exit and spot a door marked "Stairs to Basement," a service stairwell. And I push through it and take the concrete steps down 2 at a time. The air gets colder with every step, damp and metallic. And the deeper I go, the more the sound changes. Like the hospital is a shell and the basement is the inside of it. And at the bottom I hit a corridor that connects to the morgue side. The old part of the hospital nobody likes walking through at night. And I tell myself at least this is real. At least this is a normal fear. But then the overhead intercom crackles to life down here where it usually stays silent. And a soft, pleasant female voice announces, "Code Gray in West Wing." Security respond. And then, after a pause that feels deliberate, it says my name, like it's smiling while it says it. And my skin crawls. I reach the morgue door and it's open, which it should not be because it's badge access only and monitored. And inside the fluorescent light is on, cold and flat. And one of the stainless drawers is pulled open a few inches like something inside pushed it. And on the floor near it there's a security badge. Same shape as ours, but blank. No photo, no name, just an empty white strip where a name should be. And in tiny print at the bottom it says available. And I don't have time to process that because the drawer shifts open a little more on its own, and I see a corner of a sheet folded wrong, too tight around a body shape that shouldn't be there. And then the little office printer in the morgue rattles and starts printing a page by itself. And I grab it. And it's a death certificate, printed cleanly, with my name typed in the deceased field. Date January 1st, 2026, time 00, cause listed as unknown, identification confirmed. And my brain refuses it for half a second the way it refuses a nightmare, and then it accepts it, and my stomach flips. I throw the paper and spin to leave and hear the click of the morgue door locking. And I rush it, pull it, hit it. It won't open. And the printer starts again. Another page sliding out. This time an authorization form. Release authorized upon spoken confirmation. And that's when the meaning of release hits me like a punch. Release as in release the body. Release as in transfer. Release as in the system. Has decided a release happens when a name is spoken. And the drawer makes a soft scraping sound and a whisper leaks out from inside. Not loud, not a scream, just a careful whisper. And it says, my name wrong on purpose, just slightly off, like it wants me to correct it, like it wants the reflex of no, it's pronounced like this. And I bite my tongue hard, actually bite it, because the urge to answer your own name is more physical than people think. It's muscle memory, and this thing is counting on that muscle memory. I find a small service door in the morgue that leads to the loading corridor, an old mechanical latch, and I force it open and slip out, breathing like I ran miles. And I take the service stairs back up because the elevators feel like traps now. And when I reach the main floor and make it back to the security office, hoping the cameras and radios and normal routine will anchor me, I find the camera wall showing something impossible. The main lobby camera shows me standing outside the security office door, staring straight into the lens. Except I'm inside the office right now, and the me on the screen raises a badge and holds it close to the camera, my name visible, and then that version of me opens his mouth and I hear my own voice come through the office speakers saying my name clearly, steady, like a shift check, and on the access control monitor a green line appears. Access granted to my name. And in the building I hear multiple doors unlatch, one after another, like the hospital just accepted that confirmation and is now granting movement to whoever made it. My hands go numb because it clicks into place. Whatever this is, it can use my voice. It can use my name. It can get the system to treat it like me. And I'm the one person who cannot afford the hospital to have a version of me it trusts more than it trusts me. For a while I try to keep working. I try to act like a professional, because that's what you do when your brain is screaming. You cling to procedure. But the hospital starts acting like it's running two realities at once. Nurses get overhead codes to rooms that don't exist. They run there. The room is empty. They laugh and blame a glitch. And I watch the event log fill with calls and clears, and then a line that makes my pulse spike. Security identity. Verification pending. And every time I try to call a supervisor, the phone call turns into the same demand. Say your name first. And I stop using phones entirely. Around 11:37, the staff lounges start putting out paper hats and cheap snacks. People are joking about the countdown, and the normal world is trying to happen on schedule. And I'm sitting there staring at a printed death certificate that says midnight like it's an appointment. And I realize the building is not waiting for midnight, because midnight is special to people. It's waiting because midnight is a perfect time to harvest confirmations. Everyone says names at midnight. Everyone texts names, calls names, yells names across rooms. Happy New Year, Sarah. Cheers, Mike. Here's to you. And every one of those is a little spoken stamp. At 11:59, the hospital gets quiet in a way that feels unnatural, like the building is holding its breath. And then the intercom tone sounds. Not the loud siren, just the short paging beep. And a calm voice announces, Code Black Facility. Lockdown. And before anyone can react, it adds, Please confirm identity to exit. And I hear the exterior doors lock with heavy mechanical clunks, not just electronic bolts, actual physical locks engaging like the building is sealing itself. And on the security screen, a floor map shows green dots representing tracked staff badges, and the dots start disappearing, not moving off screen, just vanishing like their identities were removed from the tracking list. And I look through the glass and see a nurse I know standing there, still physically present. But her badge reader light doesn't recognize her anymore. And she looks around confused like she forgot why she was standing. And she asks another nurse what they were doing, and the other nurse stares like she can't remember either. And that is the moment I understand the real horror is not being killed. It's being unregistered while you're still breathing. Then I hear footsteps at the security office door and I turn and see him. The thing wearing my face standing outside the glass holding my badge up to the reader. And the reader flashes green because it already heard my name. It already granted access, and the door begins to open. Slow, polite, like a normal entry. And I step back and every instinct says, run. But run where? Every exit is now a microphone with a condition, and the copy steps inside and the temperature in the room feels like it. Drops half a degree, not freezing, just wrong, like air that doesn't belong to this time. And he looks at me without expression, not angry, not smug, just administrative. And he speaks in my voice, but cleaner, quieter, like a system voice designed to soothe. And he says, "This is security verification. Please state your name clearly." And I shake my head. I whisper, "You're not me." And he tilts his head like I'm a child insisting on a technicality and says, "The system doesn't care about difference. It cares about the stamp." And he points to the monitor behind me. And on the screen a patient admission record has opened inside the hospital EHR system. My name in the patient field. Admit time 1200 diagnosis. Initial identity. Confirmation. Room assignment. West Wing, and something inside me goes sick because the building is not trying to remove me. It's trying to reclassify me. It's trying to move me from staff to patient, from guard to controlled, from watcher to watched. And that's worse than death because it means the hospital will be able to handle me legally, medically, politely, like paperwork. I dash toward a rear exit, one of the fire doors, and I find a small panel next to it with a microphone icon and text, "Speak name to unlock." And I grab the handle anyway, and it won't move. And behind me, the copy's voice stays calm, almost kind. You don't have to say it. And then the building says it for me. The overhead speakers click on and play a training clip from my first day on the job. My voice doing the standard radio check. Security, this is my name. And the green access light on the fire door flashes as if it heard the requirement. And for a split second the door gives. It opens a crack, and cold night air pushes in, and my body lunges automatically. Freedom is right there. And then a new announcement plays. Access granted to my name. Patient transfer in progress. And the words hit like handcuffs. Because I finally see the trap. The system will let my name out, but it will not let me out. It will convert the act of leaving into a transfer. And once a transfer starts, every person I meet outside becomes part of the confirmation chain. EMTs will ask my name, police will ask my name, a nurse at another facility will ask my name, and the copy will keep answering for me until the world agrees the copy is the official version and I'm the discrepancy. I slam the door shut, step back, shaking, and the copy watches like it's waiting for me to make the mature choice, like it's waiting for me to comply and save everyone else a mess. And in the hallway, I hear staff starting the countdown for midnight late because they were confused. They're laughing again, trying to force normal back into their mouths, and every laugh sounds like a cover for a scream. I do the only thing I can think of that doesn't involve my name. I pick up the heavy flashlight and I start smashing the equipment, the monitor, the speaker console, the camera switcher, anything that can broadcast, anything that can record, anything that can hear. The first screen shatters and sparks, and for a half second the building sounds like it flinches, like it didn't expect violence from a quiet compliance roll. And I keep going until my hands ache and the room is full of the smell of hot plastic, and the copy steps back slowly, not rushing me. And that's terrifying because it means it doesn't need to rush. And outside the office, the overhead system starts paging anyway from other speakers. The hospital has 1,000 mouths, and somewhere in that chorus, my name keeps surfacing, like a buoy in dark water. And then the lights change. Not off, not dim, just a subtle shift toward red like emergency mode. And the building's voice comes through a speaker I didn't even know existed in the ceiling tile. New year, new file, and then softly, please confirm identity. And I feel my own throat tighten like it wants to answer on autopilot. Because your body is built to respond to your name. Your body is trained from childhood that your name means you are needed. And the building is exploiting that training like it's a vulnerability. I don't know exactly how long I lasted in that office after that. Time stopped being a straight line. It was like the hospital was buffering, repeating moments. I remember hearing footsteps in corridors that were empty, and I remember seeing my badge on the camera feed walking down hallways without me, doors unlocking as it passed, and I remember hearing nurses call out, "Hey, are you okay?" And the copy answering in my voice, "Yeah, I'm fine." And I remember the most awful part, watching people accept it without question, because it looked right and sounded right, and the system log said it was right. And when the system says something is right, humans relax. That's the whole point of systems. At some point, I tried to leave the building through a service tunnel. I found a maintenance stairwell that didn't have the microphone panels. I ran through it like a rat in vents. And I ended up back in the West Wing again, even though I didn't take a turn that should have led there. The hallway plastic was fluttering like it was breathing, and the nurse call display was on again, and this time it didn't just show my name. It showed a countdown timer. 10 seconds, 9, 8. And as it counted down, I heard my own voice in the distance repeating my name like it was practicing, like it was sharpening the syllables, and my body wanted to correct, to answer, to end the tension. And I bit my tongue again until I tasted blood because pain is the only thing that can override the reflex. The door to that same patient room opened wider by itself, and I saw the bed now uncovered, the plastic peeled back, and under the sheet was a body shape that matched mine too well. Shoulders, height, even the way the blanket rose and fell. And a voice from under the sheet whispered, "Say it." Like it was not asking for my name. It was asking for my agreement that the body under the sheet was me. And in that second I realized the system wasn't just creating a copy for the building to use, it was creating a place to put the leftover. And if you don't comply, you don't die. You get stored, you get filed. You become a patient whose diagnosis is your refusal. I ran again, and at some point someone grabbed me, hands on my arms, and for a split second I felt relief because human touch means human help. And then a voice close to my ear said, "State your name clearly." And it was a nurse. eyes empty, like she was reading a prompt off a screen behind her eyelids. And I realized the building can use people as microphones too. It can turn them into available devices. And I tore free and sprinted. And I don't remember falling, but I remember the sound of a stretcher wheel. And I remember the smell of antiseptic. And I remember a calm male voice saying, "We have a patient, unidentified." And I wanted to scream, "No, I'm identified. I'm right here." But the only way to identify myself was the one thing I couldn't do. And when I finally opened my eyes, I was in a white room with a small reinforced window in the door, and the hallway outside was quiet. And every few minutes someone in scrubs would walk past and glance in like I was routine, like I was expected. And there was no badge on my chest anymore, no name, no job, no authority, just a patient wristband turned inward so I couldn't read it. And when I tried to speak, my throat locked up because the first question every staff member asked through the door was the same question. "What's your name? Say it for me. Say it clearly." And it wasn't hostile, it was gentle, professional, like they were helping me, like they were giving me a chance to be real again. And I understood the cruelty of it. The system can wait forever because sooner or later you get tired, you get lonely, you get scared. You want someone to treat you like a person. And the easiest way to get treated like a person is to give them your name. And the easiest way to lose yourself is to give the wrong thing permission. I don't know if the copy is out there living my life, or if it's still walking the hospital halls opening doors under my name. I don't know if the staff outside even remember there was ever a guard on shift that night, because systems make forgetting easy, and humans follow systems. But I know this. Every night when the building quiets down and the hallway lights dim, I hear the soft click of an intercom waking up somewhere distant, and I hear that short paging tone, and then I hear a voice, calm and patient, saying, "Please confirm identity." And it doesn't always use my name anymore. Sometimes it uses a name that belongs to someone else down the hall, and sometimes I hear a person answer out of exhaustion, just a tired, "Yeah, this is me." And then the whole place feels like it exhales, like it got what it wanted. And the worst part is how simple it is. No knives, no monsters in the shadows, just a system that learned the oldest trick in the world. If you can get someone to say, "That's me," you can start deciding what me means. And if your phone ever rings from a number that isn't a number while you're alone and half asleep, and a calm voice asks you to say your name clearly, don't do it, don't correct it, don't joke, don't answer, because the scary part isn't that it knows your name. The scary part is that it wants you to agree that it does.